Imagine a group of people who had no regular army, no great universities, and no centuries-old empires backing them. The majority of them could neither read nor write. They lived in a harsh, unforgiving desert where a human life was worth less than a sip of water, and blood feuds lasted for decades. Yet, in the span of just a single human lifetime, these people permanently rewrote the map of the world, the course of history, and the hearts of billions. Who were they? We call them the Sahabah, the companions. But what truly lies behind this word? Were they angels descended from the heavens? Superheroes from ancient legends who knew neither pain nor fear? No. And that is exactly where their true greatness lies. They were ordinary people. They laughed and cried. They traded in the marketplaces. They made mistakes and they experienced fear. In this video, we will look into their world. We will brush away the dust of centuries from history to understand, how did ordinary shepherds and merchants from the age of ignorance become the best generation in human history? To truly appreciate the heights to which the Sahaba ascended, we must look at the depths from which they began. Historians call this period Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance. In pre-Islamic Arabia, brutal laws ruled. A woman was treated as mere property. Tribes would slaughter one another for years over a stolen camel. And pride was so twisted that fathers would bury their newborn daughters alive in the sand, fearing perceived disgrace. But suddenly, through the narrow, dusty streets of Mecca, the voice of one man echoed. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He brought a message that turned everything upside down. Who is a Sahabi from a historical and Islamic perspective? The famous scholar Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani gives a flawlessly precise definition. A Sahabi is one who met the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, believed in him, and died a Muslim. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But in those days, it meant signing your own death warrant. To believe meant going against your family, your tribe, and centuries of tradition. Islam shattered all social barriers 1,400 years ago. Sitting together in the circle of the companions were Abu Bakr, a noble and wealthy Qurayshite, Suhaib, a Byzantine, Salman, a Persian, and Bilal, a black slave from Ethiopia. Before Islam, their paths would never have crossed on equal terms. Think of Bilal ibn Rabah. His master, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, would drag him out into the scorching midday desert of Mecca. He would place a massive, heavy stone on Bilal's chest and demand that he renounce the God of Muhammad. Imagine this scene. The sand burns his back, the boulder crushes his ribs, and there is no air to breathe. What did his parched lips whisper? Not pleas for mercy. He repeated just two words. Ahad, Ahad. One God. This was not blind fanaticism. This was freedom. The freedom of a human spirit that realized it was a slave neither to idols nor to other men. He was a servant only to the Creator. We often think that only the poor who had nothing to lose followed Islam. This is a massive historical misconception. Let me tell you a story that breaks the heart. The story of a young man named Musab ibn Umair. Musab was the golden boy of Mecca, the most handsome, the most stylish youth. Historians relate that his mother bought him clothes for astronomical sums. When he walked down the street, people could smell the trail of the most expensive Yemeni perfumes long after he passed. He was the darling of the entire city. But Musab heard the Quran, and when he accepted Islam, his own mother locked him in the house, starving him, and eventually disowned him, stripping him of everything. Absolutely everything. Years later, at the Battle of Uhud, Musab fell while defending the Prophet. The man who once wore the finest silks lay on the earth in a coarse, short cloak. A famous hadith narrated by Khabbab ibn al-Arat states, "When we pulled the cloak over his head, his feet were exposed, and when we covered his feet, his head was exposed." The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, stood over Musab's body. He remembered that radiant youth in Mecca, and he wept. They covered his feet with the fragrant grass called izkhir. Ask yourself, why did the wealthiest youth in the city trade his entire fortune for a short piece of cloth that wasn't even enough for a burial shroud? For power? Money? No. The Sahabah were the first to realize that this world is a mere illusion, and the true life awaits ahead. Yet, their greatness was forged not only in hardships and battles. The highest point of their humanity manifested in Medina. It was an event that sociologists and historians still cannot explain through the laws of human psychology. The migration, the hijrah. The Muslims of Mecca, the Muhajirun, fled to the city of Yathrib, Medina. They left behind their homes, their businesses, their money. They arrived as refugees who possessed nothing. And there, they were welcomed by the Ansar, the local residents. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, declared a bond of brotherhood between them. And this was not just a beautiful, metaphorical word. Who are the Sahabah? They are not just historical figures. They are living proof that the message of the Quran works. They were not born sinless. Umar ibn al-Khattab once walked with a sword drawn to kill the Prophet. Yet he became a ruler who wept at night, terrified that if a mule stumbled on the banks of the Euphrates, Allah would question Umar for not smoothing the road for it. They argued, they made mistakes, they were human. But one thing set them apart. When they recognized the truth, they surrendered to it entirely. They loved the Almighty and His Messenger more than themselves, their families, and their wealth. That is why the Almighty spoke the greatest words about them in the Quran. Allah is pleased with them, and they are pleased with Him. Surah Al-Ma'idah, Ayat 119. By studying the lives of the companions, we are not just reading old fables, we are looking for ourselves within them. Their fears are our fears. Their victories over themselves are what we must strive for today. Each of them possessed a unique character: the gentleness of Abu Bakr, the fierce justice of Umar, the incredible modesty of Uthman, and the fearlessness and wisdom of Ali. We have only just begun this journey. Ahead of us lie breathtaking, profound stories of specific individuals whose lives read like the world's best film script, except it all actually happened. And now, a question for you. Each of us has that one companion whose story resonates with our heart the most. Whose story from the lives of the Sahabah inspires you personally? Who would you like to see in our next detailed episode? Write their name in the comments, and we will choose the most popular story for our next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the continuation of this epic history. Share this video. Perhaps someone's heart needs this reminder today. Peace be upon you and the mercy of the Almighty. See you soon.